So here's how you reduce CAC by fixing the qualify stage before you buy more leads. So it's really, really important to remember the fastest way to lower your customer acquisition costs isn't spending more money, it's actually improving your conversion ratio. That is a far more important thing to do. So the real problem isn't ads, because what a lot of people do is they change creatives, adjust targeting, test new ad formats, etc., etc. The CAC stays high and the cycle of just spending more money continues and continues. But the fastest lever to pull here is the qualify stage, which is directly after the lead opts in. This is where so many deals are either lost or won, and in most situations we see poor qualification here, which means you're paying for leads who never show up to calls, never buy, or never like a really, really good fix. So really good fit, pardon me. So here are a couple of levers that fix that. Show up reminders and incentives. So it's really, really important to give an incentive to show up and to also remind people to show up. People don't miss your call because they hate you. They miss your call because they're busy, they have schedules, they have lives, they have kids, they have a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So we can never assume that they're just doing it because they hate us, okay? Now, next thing is the offer percentage. So the offer basically controls who says yes before they either reach your form. We're going to do a whole video on offers and one versus two-step qualification. So what that is how many levels of friction does someone have to go through before they actually can book a call with you? Now, this will depend on the service that you're offering. So a lot of services will only need one step, although more higher ticket services will probably do better from two-step qualification. The reason that you would do a higher level of qualification is to actually disqualify people from getting through. So let's give you two examples here. If you're selling something like a residential service for people where it's pretty much based on price and speed of someone actually getting in contact with them, the most important thing to do is to get that one-step qualification going. Make it really, really easy to do. Okay. Now with the two-step qualification is you're selling something high ticket where, you want people to know a bit about you and you actually want someone who's dedicated, not just a price hunter or someone who just wants information. So the two-step funnel actually helps do that. Now, show up reminders and incentives. Now, if someone books a call and doesn't show, you paid the full CAC for nothing. Yeah, you basically paid all those costs for lead for nothing. So the result is zero, but the cost is real. So it's a commitment problem. So no show is not a bad lead. It just basically shows that you haven't incentivized that person enough, okay? And people move on. So our show rate is the first thing that we want to optimize in most lead generation funnels before we touch ad spend and we touch creative. So as an example, you get 10 leads, you're paying $10 a lead, and you get one show, 2 of those calls. Cool. If you improve that to 5, what will happen is your business will go up by a factor of 5 times 1 is 5, for the exact same amount of cost. So I would highly recommend doing that rather than trying to bring in more leads and just hoping that they would get through a broken system. Fix the system. The show rate is a CAC lever. So if you improve show rate from 50 to 80%, for example, you reduce your CAC by up to 37.5% with 0 increase in ad spend. Basically, you're just getting more people to show up that have actually paid to give you their details. So it's very important to do. So first thing to do is reminder stack. Instant confirmation message sent immediately after booking. Within 24 hours, a reminder with call details and what to prepare. 2 hours, short direct reminder reinforcing the value of attending, and 15 minutes just a final nudge. Link front and center, no friction to join. Okay? This reduces the gap between booked and attended. And this consistency, this messaging stack matters more than anything else. And then you have to have some form of incentive there. So incentive will increase commitment. People don't like missing out on free stuff. So a custom action plan, show up and we'll build your plan live in the call. Internal teardown, so you're actually going to give them some answers, and a live audit that's not available any other way. So you want to give them something that's beneficial for them to have after that. Okay, very, very important. So it must be valuable and can only be delivered live. No replay, no VSL, no PDF. It has to be inside the call, because as soon as it's outside the call, no one cares. They're going to get it anyway, so there's no point. Now, the qualification filter, the offer is basically, if it's too broad, a lot of people are going to opt in who shouldn't, and the people who need to may miss out on it. So the damage is already done. So you need to make sure that the offer percentage of people who actually see your offer and qualified are not just curious, but they're not just curious, they're not just interested, they're ready to buy. So what I mean by that is, say you get 10 people who opt in, you might get 5 people on the call. Might get 3 people who are actually not really ideal clients who are just looking around and curious, and then you might get 2 people who are really, really good. So you have a 20% offer buy-in. So by having a more specific offer and better targeting on who you're working with in the creative, you will get better from that. So what I generally see with high CAC as well is you're getting too many unqualified yeses. So really, really good leads. Okay, really good number of leads, pardon me, but sales performance is low. It's either the offer's doing too little work, or you've got basically a very wide offer and you're getting unqualified people. The offer's too soft. Often just improving the offer and what people are getting can actually improve the amount of money that you make from that, which is a really, really cool thing. So narrow the offer, not the form. Okay, so narrow who the offer speaks to before people ever click. Forms don't fix it, okay? Narrowing the offer deters the wrong people. So if I say attention real estate agents, it is highly unlikely a dentist is going to click on it, okay? It needs to be very, very specific there for that. So for founders doing 20K per month, this signals a revenue stage. It disqualifies someone who's making $0. Not for beginners. This works only if you have a proven offer, exclusion language, and only works if you already have sales calls being booked. It sets a baseline condition. You need to set the baseline condition. And then beforehand, if the call jumps on and if someone does have, though, they don't fit this thing, but they're keen, you should probably have something free that will help them get to the next stage. So then you can sell them later, but that's another discussion. So when you exclude people clearly, you get fewer bookings, the volume drops, but the quality rises, the cream rises to the top. You get a higher show rate, a higher close rate, and lower CAC because you're spending less hours in sales, you're closing more percentage of those leads that come in, you're getting a better return on investment, and they stick around for longer. So most businesses I've worked with are afraid to reduce the offer, or narrow the offer, pardon me, because it means fewer leads in the dashboard. So the discomfort of lower volume is the price of lower CAC. So do you want to have a lower customer acquisition cost and a more scalable business, or do you want to waste your time with more people on calls? That's a trade that you need to discover. Now, with this, not all funnels should feel easy. Friction should be intentional, calibrated to offer, the ticket size, and the capacity you have to serve it. So the right amount pre-qualifies, the wrong amount will kill it. You want to choose deliberately. So if you're working with a business where, again, it's a very simple thing that you're selling, having a low friction thing should be easy. If you're trying to get someone to mow your lawn, you shouldn't have to jump through hoops to do that. But if you're trying to book a call with a coach who's charging $500 an hour, you probably want to jump through a few hoops because you want that person to be committed to jumping through it. Pretty simple process. So with this, look at your offer and go, is this a high information or a low information purchase? So what I mean by that is if it's a low information purchase, like the coffee's good, I'm going to buy the coffee. I don't need to know everything about the beans. I don't need to know everything about that. But if I'm going to buy like a 1-year coaching program, I'm probably going to want to know a few things and also be qualified for it. So one step is really good for low ticket, high volume funnels and fast conversion. So add, form, booked call, really easy. We want to watch out for a high no-show rate. It means low commitment to attend, low intent. Easy entry may attract curiosity as much as buying intent. Gyms find this out all the time. Gyms are one of those things where they really struggle with their qualification stages, and poor sales efficiency because you're spending time trying to close a lead who's not going to close. Now, 2-step is best for your high ticket. You've got limited sales or sales-led or relationship-driven offers. Generally, an add to an application to a review to a call. Okay. Completing an application is a sign that the customer is more committed because they've gone through the behavior to fill that in. And it will screen motivation. You have to be committed to actually fill in that whole form. And then it also signals exclusivity. If it has some degree of exclusivity, your prices can normally go up. So the CAC trade-off. 2 steps, increase cost per lead and reduce book call volume, but CAC will fall overall because better qualified people reach. You'll close a higher percentage of sales. They'll convert at a higher rate. And then they'll keep them for longer, increasing lifetime value. Okay, so CAC is not just what you spend on traffic, it's these 3 variables. CAC, customer acquisition cost, equals your ad spend, divided by your show rate times your close rate. Okay, and if you're looking at optimizing ad spend while not worrying about your show rate and close rate, it's like fixing a leak by adding more water. Address the denominator, and then CAC's going to drop without you changing the budget. I see this so often with so many businesses, and it does my head in. So what breaks CAC? Broken show rate, so paid leads who don't attend, that's horrible. Broken qualification, wrong fit comes on. Oh, I thought this was something else. That's the worst. And high CAC, the strong ad won't even fix that. So to reduce CAC first, don't start just with the ads, fix the qualify stage. In my experience, this is where most of the money being lost is. So it force commitment to people, you show up reminders and live only incentives, narrow the offer, be specific, and add friction when necessary. The goal here is make every lead worth more than before. Okay, worth more before you buy more leads. The teams with the lowest CAC spend aren't necessarily outspending their competition, but generally out qualifying them. So if you can do that, I can guarantee you'll see some massive improvements in your business.